happened to me, which is a true story. Back in the late 80s, I was working for a steel company, driving a delivery truck. It was on December the 8th, one day after my birthday. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning. Being in December, it was still pretty cold. It was like in the mid-20s. Misty rain, roads were kind of wet. I had a load of steel on the back bed of my truck and stopping through different towns making my deliveries that morning. As I came through a small town called Bryant, Arkansas, I was traveling on the service road, and which is just adjacent to the interstate that we have. I was going to my next stop on the service road. Came over the top of a small hill. I looked down in front of me a little ways, and I could see to my right, to my left was the interstate, to my right were businesses alongside that service road. I noticed a tractor trailer rig had pulled up to the edge of the road, nosed up to it, and when they did, I had seen it pull up, and when he had stopped, I had let off the accelerator. I was shifting through my gears to go ahead and pick up speed to go on by, and just, I couldn't understand, but the driver of that truck decided he wanted to go ahead and pull out and turn towards me to come my direction. When he did, and the tractor pulled out onto the roadway, blocking both lanes, I knew right then I was in trouble because I was close enough to him at that time. The last time I glanced at my speedometer was approximately 45 miles per hour. When he pulled out, I just slammed on my brakes and thought, oh God, please help me. Seconds later, my truck collided directly into the left side of the trailer of this tractor trailer, pinning me up underneath it. I hit the trailer broadside at approximately 45 miles per hour. The engine in the vehicle was mounted right there beside me, underneath me, instead of out in front of me, so that made the nose of the truck I was driving, just from the windshield straight down, just all flat on the front. When it hit, the dash caved into my knees. The steel hit the back of the cab of my truck, which was at that time around 13,000 pounds. And all that slammed forward, crushing the seat forward, the driver's seat, and within a second, it was the most horrible, horrific sound that I'll never be able to explain or nor forget. It was blinding pain the second that it hit. And I could hear glass crashing. My radio, CB radio that I had on the dash, it knocked it out completely out the front end. The windshield was knocked completely out of the truck. I was so close to the truck and so far up under it that I could actually reach out with my right hand or left hand, and without even straightening my arm out, could feel the side of the trailer. I immediately started hollering because I felt pain and was dealing with pain that I had never felt before. I couldn't move. I was trapped in there. My legs were in between the front instrument panel of the truck and the driver's seat. They were crushed together. I had a little cut on my head, the things where I'd hit the steering wheel from hitting so hard. Immediately I could just feel that cold air come flying in on me, and one of the employees from the company that truck pulled out of came running up to the cab of my truck. It was like, oh my God, man, are you okay? Are you okay? And I just turned and looked at him, and I'll always remember, do I look okay? He said, get me some help fast. I was in a state of mind that I didn't really believe that it happened, but the blinding pain showed me real fast that I was in a lot of pain, and I couldn't move. I couldn't get out. from my knees down, my legs were hurting so terribly bad. I was thinking I had lost them, or there was, I was going to lose my legs. Well, I don't care as long as I can live through this and they can get me out of here. After just a few seconds, it seemed to me I was hearing sirens. Coming from both directions. The employee of that company stuff stayed there with me in the truck, stand outside the passenger door talking to me and yelling at me. I was trying to keep my mind focused on getting out of there and being able to talk to the people of rescue and all them that were very quickly arriving. There were firemen, rescue everywhere. There were paramedics trying to get into the cab, and I said, no, when they release me and get me loose, I'll climb out to your side. I've got to get out of here. Claustrophobic was trying to take over, but I refused to let it control me. I fought it with everything I had to keep everything together and be able to concentrate on getting out of there. If no one has ever seen or heard what they call the jaws of life, I'm a firm believer in it because I was within inches of seeing how it operates and how it saved my life. They actually got a hold of the record because the jaws of life, they couldn't get the doors open on the driver's side because it was so mangled that they couldn't get to me and things at the time. So they actually had to take a wrecker backed up to my truck, the back end of my vehicle, and pull me literally out from underneath that trailer so they could get to me better. That was the most horrific pain. It was enough that I completely passed out for just a few seconds because the pain was just too great for me. I couldn't deal with it. When I came to, I see people running everywhere, different people talking, hollering, sirens, water pumps, everything going, just so many sounds, and it was just unbelievably scary for me because I couldn't go anywhere. There was fuel, there were things running everywhere when I had hit the truck, and there was a city policeman that came and stood up on the side of on the left front tire, which is right up underneath the door on the vehicle, which was turned outward. He was standing up on there, and it could actually, he was trying to talk to me and to comfort me as best he could and things. And something happened at that time that I'll never be able to forget as long as I live. Was when I heard someone yelling, somebody, everybody get out of the way, we've got fuel going everywhere. And that was one of the firemen that I had noticed outside my door hollering, and when he did, everybody turned to run, including the city policeman that was standing up on the side of my truck trying to talk to me. When he turned, he made a left-hand turn to get off the truck to get away. When he did, I just instinctively just reached up, grabbed his service gun, his pistol, and shoved him away from the truck. And he turned and looked at me just mortified. And he said, I've never seen a look like that on someone's face. He just said, all I could think of was tell him and look at him. I said, sir, I'm not going to burn to death. I'm not going to do it. And I said, y'all get it clear, you can have it back. That was the most difficult time for me in my life to make a decision, a life and death decision as I did. But I was prepared. It was both just horrific. I was scared to death. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to handle these things. But when they came up and they said, man, we got it all, we've got it all. The police officer climbs right back up on the side of my truck like that, and son, we're going to get you out of here. It's going to be all right. There's not going to be a fire and stuff now. I turned and I handed his weapon back to him. He stuck it straight in his holster and never said a word to anyone and just kept his hand on my shoulder and said, hey, I understand. I did my fair share of talking to the Lord at that time, because I didn't know. I said, Lord, if you can just get me out of here, if I walk or not, that's okay, I'll deal with it. I just want to be alive. I just want to get out of here. After the crunching sounds of the jaws of life in there, it was just unbelievable. And when the jaws of life, when it separated, the doors enough for the dash and enough for my legs to actually break free, I passed out yet again from some morbid pain that just shot through me. Once the blood started flowing back down to my legs, it was basically unbearable pain. But I still had enough in my mind, enough strength in my mind to focus on getting outside that passenger side door. And when my legs came through and I regained conscious, I started climbing, pulling, grabbing at anything I could. I could not move my legs. I could not do anything with them, but I was strong enough at that time to pull myself free from this death trap that I was in. And I was just blinded by pain. And the ambulance workers and all, they grabbed me, they put me on the gurney, they put me inside the ambulance, and I just kind of got a glimpse as they was loading me in the ambulance. I could see the truck, and I was kind of like, wow, I guess I was lucky today, huh? That's what I had said to them. They said, well, sir, the accident looked so bad to us when we arrived, we had called the medical helicopter just in case, because they said it looked bad to them. Out of this, they finally got me to the hospital. They got me sedated, and my left leg was swollen so bad that the hair on my legs was standing straight out. My skin was almost shiny, and they were very concerned about my leg, whether or not I would either lose it or if they would have to lance it, as they called it, to try to help save my leg. The most awesome thing that came out of it was I was alive. I hadn't lost my legs. I hadn't broke any bones. But I was still pretty messed up, bruised up, severe bruising. I was in the hospital for like 3 days, and I had nightmares every time I went to sleep, reliving that accident over and over. I knew it was going to be difficult to overcome this, but through all the adversity, I managed to survive to walk another day. I hope you all enjoyed this story. It was a little difficult to tell because of reliving it and how vivid it still is in my mind today. But I'm so very thankful that it turned out like it did and that policeman was there. I hope you all enjoyed this story, and live to enjoy life another day. Thank you for listening.